And welcome to Wake Up Call. I'm Keely McCormick.
And I'm Malik Jackson. We have a packed show for you guys today. We'll be talking about the Category 4 hurricane that's headed for the Panhandle of Florida.
That's right. Plus, some artists are getting political.
And we have a great interview with the journalism student right here at KU. Today is October 10th.
Stay tuned because Wake Up Call starts right now. And welcome back to Wake Up Call.
Keely McCormick, Malik Jackson. We start off this morning with another major hurricane, Florida's Panhandle.
Hurricane Michael was upgraded from a tropical storm to become a major Category 4 storm when it makes landfall in the Florida Panhandle later today. Michael is traveling north at a rate of 12 miles per hour, and Florida Governor Rick Scott declared a state of emergency in 35 counties.
Now to Omar Jimenez down in the Panhandle.
Today is the day Hurricane Michael makes landfall. It's expected to do so as a Category 4 hurricane, and Florida Governor Rick Scott saying the time for evacuation has come and gone. At this point, the strategy is shelter in place.
This one is just one that just really we're not going to take a chance on.
The National Weather Service is calling Hurricane Michael an unprecedented event, expected to be the first major hurricane to hit the Florida Panhandle in 13 years.
We're praying and hoping and getting ready.
Forecasts show the storm could bring winds of more than 130 miles per hour and storm surges as high as 13 feet.
This storm is dangerous, and if you don't follow warnings from officials, this storm could kill you, and you cannot take it lightly.
34 shelters will be open across the state of Florida as more than 2 million people live in counties ordered to evacuate.
What they need to do is get in a safe place. Wherever you are, hopefully it is a safe place.
The storm is expected to make landfall this afternoon, dumping up to a foot of rain before it blows over regions still recovering from last month's Hurricane Florence.
I know people are fatigued from Florence, but don't let this storm catch you with your guard down.
And despite warnings from officials, some residents are choosing to ride out the storm.
A lot of them done left. They done went to Alabama and Georgia, and no point going to Georgia. It's going to Georgia after here, so I don't see no point in that.
And with the Category 4 classification, this hurricane is set to be the strongest to hit the U.S. this year and the strongest to ever hit the Florida Panhandle. Reporting from Panama City, I'm Omar Jimenez.
And obviously we have make sure all those people down in the Panhandle take the necessary precautions because the storm is coming in, and it seems like every hour or so it updates to a different category.
That's right. And the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children put out an alert about Brooklyn Hayes. She's a 16-year-old girl who went missing from Essex, Maryland on September 30th. Her worried loved ones have made hundreds of flyers in an effort to bring her home safely. The teen does not have anything with her, not even her cell phone. She also has asthma but does not have her medication. If you've seen her or have any information, you must call 911 immediately. Hayes has been missing for 10 days, so she could potentially be in any state. And this girl is actually one of my younger cousin's good friends, so it's important that they get her home safe. So if you have any information, call 911 immediately.
Absolutely. Always sad to hear those stories. Moving along, yesterday, President Donald Trump announced that the U.S. ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, has resigned and will leave by the end of the year. Trump praised Haley, saying she has done a fantastic job and that she could have her pick of administration posts if she ever wants to rejoin the administration. Haley said that this has been an honor, but it is time for her to depart. The president plans to name a new successor for the U.S. top diplomatic post, at the United Nations in 2 to 3 weeks.
And Taylor Swift gets political. After years of keeping her political beliefs to herself and not sharing it with her fan base, she posted an Instagram regarding the midterms and who she's endorsing. Swift is voting in the state of Tennessee and explained that she'll be voting for Democrat Phil Bresden for Senate and Jim Cooper for House of Representatives. She ends the post in a call to action, telling her fans to educate themselves on the candidates and register to vote before it's too late. Since her post, 2,144 new people have registered in Tennessee, and last night at the AMA Awards, she used her acceptance speech to encourage her fans to vote once again. So let's check that out.
And I just wanted to make a mention of the fact that this award and every single award given out tonight were voted on by the people, and you know what else is voted on by the people? Is the midterm elections on November 6th. Get out and vote. I love you guys.
It's cool to see Taylor Swift using her social media platform to encourage her fans to get out there and vote.
Absolutely, because voting is so important. Moving along, Kanye West is headed to the White House. Yes, that's right. The popular music artist will meet with Donald Trump tomorrow for lunch. Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, will also be in attendance. Kanye West wants to discuss key issues during the meetings, including job opportunities for ex-convicts and ways to increase manufacturing jobs in and around Chicago. Other topics of conversation will be prison reform, how to prevent gang violence, and reducing violence in Chicago. And again, that meeting is slated for tomorrow afternoon.
I would love to sit down on that meeting, see how Kanye interacts in a setting like that.
I don't know. I think I'll pass. You go for it.
I'll go for you. All right, well, after the break, we'll be back with a very special interview with a very special journalism student, so stay tuned.
When you shop local in the heart of the city, you support the people that make our community thrive. The money you spend here stays here, in this place we call our home. Lawrence, Kansas, where there's good old-fashioned hometown pride. Eat local, drink local, shop local.
And welcome back. Now we're here with a very special journalism student, like I said. 2 KU students are the winners of the 28th Annual Excellence in Community Education and Leadership, also known as the Excel Award. Now joining me is one of those winners, Jose Montoya. Jose, welcome, congratulations. How did it feel when you won this important award?
It felt really awesome to be recognized at halftime and at the homecoming parade. This award recognizes KU seniors who excel in community involvement and academic achievement.
Awesome. So you are very involved in the community. So tell us a little bit about what you do here at KU.
So I'm involved in 2 different fraternities. I do stuff with the Fellowship of Catholic University Students. They host a yearly conference in January. And then I'm the president of the Multicultural Greek Council. I'm a part of the Journalism Student Leadership Board, in addition to so many other things.
Wow, that is definitely a lot. So are there any past awards that you've won?
So last year I won the Earl Falkenstein Award for the Sport Management Department, and that recognized me for being good in health, sport, and exercise science.
Wow, impressive. So you mentioned you're a senior. What are you looking to do next year?
So next year I'm gonna apply for an internship at the University of Utah, work in their athletic department, and then after that I plan on pursuing a master's degree in higher education with a focus in intercollegiate athletic administration.
Oh, wow, that's impressive. I know the past 2 years you've interned in Washington, D.C. Can you tell us a little bit about what you did there?
So the first summer I was a part of a program called the Fund for American Studies. It brings in interns from a variety of different fields. We take economics courses through George Mason University, and we are put into different internships, whether it's business, economics, journalism. And so I interned with the Catholic News Service, and I wrote on their national news desk, so I was able to cover stories all the way from California to Washington, D.C., and then sometimes I was able to write internationally, so I interviewed sources in Ireland and Spain and all over the world. So it was a really awesome experience. This summer, I was with the National Journalism Center, and I interned with Radio America, so I produced podcasts, radio, and television for them.
Wow, it seems like you really got a good experience doing a lot of different things in that internship. So let's go back to talking about the Excel Award. What does it mean to you?
So it means so much to me. It fully shows that my 3-4 years as a Jayhawk journalist has really accumulated a lot of things. From a freshman coming in as a first-generation student, not knowing exactly how college was going to work, and then not knowing anyone since I'm out of state. I think it shows that I was able to put myself out there and do a bunch of different things and get out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, that's great. And you just mentioned again you're out of state. Just go ahead and tell everyone where you're from.
I'm from New Mexico.
New Mexico, so that's pretty far. Tell us, how far away is that? What's the plane ride like? How far is the drive?
So the drive is 12 and a half hours. You got different stops in Texas, Liberal, Kansas, all the good places, and then you find Lawrence, Kansas.
Wow, so that really shows that you did put yourself out of your comfort zone when coming to KU. So what are you how have things changed since you won this Excel Award?
I mean, not much has changed. I still do the same old activities. I'm still the president of Multicultural Greek Council. I guess one thing that has happened in the last 2 weeks is just a lot of people coming up and telling me, hey, good job, Jose, for being recognized for the award.
Wow, well, congratulations. I know everyone at the journalism school, especially me, I'm very proud of my dear friend Jose, so congratulations. After the break, we'll be back with some icon-bearing good news, so stay tuned.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back to Wake Up Call once again, and Jose's a good friend of mine, so it's pretty cool to see that he got the chance to win that award and got to be recognized for everything that he does here.
So congratulations to him. Moving along, now time for Week in Review. First up, over the weekend, Brett Kavanaugh was sworn in as the next Supreme Court judge, replacing retiring Judge Anthony Kennedy. After a long confirmation process that topped over 85 days, he is now on the bench hearing cases as of now, doing his job.
That's right. Over the weekend, a limo carrying 20 people, including newlyweds, crashed, killing all 17 guests, the driver, and 2 pedestrians. New York City investigators say the limo wasn't equipped to be on the road, nor was the driver licensed to drive the limo.
And for our last story Week in Review, former Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke was found guilty of second-degree murder for the shooting of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald. He was also found guilty of 16 additional counts of aggravated battery.
That's right.
Yeah, so a lot of protests after that shooting in 2014, and justice has been served, so good for them. Moving along, this week Google is releasing its newest version of the Pixel phone. This phone comes with new features on the camera, a Chrome OS tablet, and its first smart screen device with a Google Assistant. The release of the phone was announced Tuesday in New York as part of the Made for Google lineup. The phones will start pricing at $799, $100 cheaper than its previous model, priced at $899, the size just 10% smaller. I will say that's a lot cheaper than those new iPhones that
Yeah, but still pretty pricey. I remember my little flip phone, I think it was like $30, first phone.
My first phone was like a little burner phone from
Oh.
Walmart. You had to buy the minutes for it.
Oh, good times.
I think it was like 20 bucks. Got like 88
Yeah.
minutes for like $3.
You could just take your little picture and texting on those when you had to
Yeah.
press the number like 6 times.
And I thought I was so cool, but
Not that cool.
back then it was cool.
Yeah,
I'm
not
s-
anymore.
I'm cool now.
So cool. All right, well, after the commercial break, we'll be back once again with some weather and everyone's favorite icon-bearing good news. So stay tuned. Welcome back once again. Now we're going to toss it on over to our weather gal, Sal. She's going to tell us a little bit more information about Hurricane Michael. Sally?
Thanks, Keely. And you can see behind me, this was the storm just yesterday around 7 o'clock. But last night, the storm picks up from a Category 3 hurricane all the way up to a Category 4, picking up 120 mile per hour winds to 148 mile per hour gusts. Moving on to the next picture, you can see how it escalates going into the panhandle of Florida. And you can see the effects of it hitting Panama City and Pensacola. The effects are huge, but the storm surge is not only going to be able to take the incoming around 11 inches or 11 feet of rain, along with the 9-foot storm surges that aren't able to keep up with it. And you can see behind me is the track going into it. And so the effects are going to go all the way through Atlanta into the Carolina coast, and it'll drive back out into the Atlantic Ocean. And hopefully once that's gone, that the only flooding and wind damages are done. But it's very significant to 20,000 people sitting in the panhandle of Florida. And then in the next picture, you can see the effects of where the most significant flooding are going to be, especially in the Martian areas. It is very strong of how people are going to be stuck in their homes, that it was effective last night at 1 a.m. when it made complete landfall. And in the next picture, we'll see how this will affect us here and in Lawrence. It's just going to be some flooding, as you can see. You might want to get some rain boots. It's going to be wet until the hurricane finally passes through and clears up in the East Coast. Moving on to the next slide, we'll have, it shows us yesterday's forecast of how there was a couple tornado warnings. That is from all the circulation happening, and it does kind of bring danger and awareness because luckily Lawrence won't get any significant storms, but all the areas around us you can see are hot spots, especially with the panhandle being a very vulnerable right now with the storm. And then finally, to recap the weekend forecast in the next slide, you can see that we're in a low risk for tornadoes with this, but a little strong winds, and the most concern would be flash flooding when you're walking across a big puddle when you get to your car. And now, thank you. That's it for Weather Gal Style. Back to you, Malik.
Thank you, Sally, for that. And obviously, those people need to take precautions down there. And you can see the effects of that hurricane all the way up there. And Sally said landfall. It's eventual landfall, which is scheduled for about 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time down there. So obviously, we're keeping them in our thoughts at this very crucial time.
That's right. All right, moving on to I Come Bearing Good News. A little boy from Maine who was not supposed to live past April received a special escort to his final chemo treatment last week from police officers. The 7-year-old Liam Silvera was diagnosed with high-grade glioma last year. The officers from Pensacola County Sheriff's Office gave him a ride to the hospital and even allowed him to use the radio because the young boy has always dreamed of being a cop.
Well, that's an awesome story right there, out of Maine.
Yep, that's right. Very cute story. Love to hear it. And we just love to end on a good note here at Wake Up Call. So for Keely McCormick, Malik Jackson.
Well, we still have about a minute left in the show.
God.
Keely's trying to get us off.
Getting ahead of myself.
What were you in a rush for?
Got to get out there, get more coffee. Running low.
Running low. We had to stop by this morning, although this is a little strong. Not enough sugar.
Malik says his coffee is strong. He put 6 packs of sugar and half a cup of cream. So there's just no way that it's a strong cup of coffee.
And it's still strong. What are you doing for fall break?
Going home to Chicago to see my family.
Well, that's exciting. I'll be here working. All righty.
All right. Well, hopefully all the students in Lawrence can stay safe, have fun getting home for the weekend.
Absolutely. And I'm pulling double duty today. I'll be anchoring the 4 p.m. broadcast of KUJH, so make sure you tune in, tv.ku.edu. You'll see this beautiful face. That's the only reason that you need to tune in. For Keely McCormick, I'm Malik Jackson. Thank you for watching Wake Up Call. We'll see you right back here next Wednesday at 9 a.m.